the evildoers responsible for my husband's assassination have no idea what they have done. They Charlie because he preached a message of patriotism, faith, and of God's merciful love. But they should all know this. If you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea. You have no idea what you just have unleashed across this entire country and this world.
They thought killing Charlie Kirk would silence his voice forever, but instead, it unleashed a storm. The bullet that struck him wasn't just a weapon. It carried bizarre, coded messages, etched into its shell, like some twisted calling card. Now, rumors swirl of billionaires he once clashed with, secret messages that could expose them, and even whispers that his own wife, Erica, knows far more than she admits. Was this a political hit, a warning from powerful enemies, or something even darker? Tonight, we follow the trail of clues that may finally reveal the truth. Rumors are swirling around Charlie Kirk's wife, Erica, placing her at the center of speculation about what really happened to him and why he's no longer alive. The whispers suggest Kirk had been locked in a tense battle with some extremely wealthy and influential figures, individuals he once accepted money from but later clashed with over his outspoken commentary. The pressure, reportedly, had been building heavily on him in the final 2 weeks of his life. Now, there's even talk of private messages surfacing soon, which only fuels curiosity. Who are these billionaires? What kind of information could those messages actually reveal? Who holds them? And are they working with law enforcement, or pushing their own agenda? According to what people on the streets are saying, Erica may have more answers than anyone else right now.
When listening tonight across America, the movement my husband built will not die. It won't. I refuse to let that happen. It will not die. All of us will refuse to let that happen. No one will ever forget my husband's name, and I will.
Charlie Kirk was never a small player in American politics. He built his name as a conservative activist, author, and media figure, best known as the co-founder and CEO of Turning Point USA. A close ally of former President Donald Trump, Kirk became a powerhouse within the hard-right movement, using social media savvy and campus organizing to rally young conservatives. His influence reached beyond commentary. He actively mobilized support to shield Trump's cabinet nominees from Republican leaders he believed weren't loyal enough. In recent years, Kirk had cemented his place as one of the most prominent voices advancing Trump's political agenda. But only a few days ago, his story took a dark and disturbing turn. Kirk was shot in the neck in what appears to have been a calculated attack by someone who knew exactly what they were doing. Since then, the internet has erupted with rumors, theories, and bizarre fragments of information that feel stranger than fiction. Among the most shocking revelations? Reports claim the rifle used in the attack contained bullets engraved with unusual and sometimes absurd inscriptions. One spent casing allegedly bore the phrase "bulge owl," a reference tied to an obscure furry roleplay community. 3 fired rounds were etched with "Hey Fascist, catch with arrows," which gamers quickly recognized as shorthand for a bomb deployment code in Helldivers 2. Even more unsettling, another round reportedly carried lyrics from the Italian anti-fascist anthem Bella Ciao, while yet another was marked with the mocking phrase, "If you read this, you are gay." The randomness of these engravings has left investigators and the public equally puzzled. Were they meant as satire? A twisted calling card? Or a cryptic manifesto hidden behind layers of internet culture? Whatever the intent, the details only make an already shocking incident even harder to comprehend. Conspiracy theories surrounding the attack on Charlie Kirk are spreading at lightning speed, each one more outlandish than the last. Some claim the incident wasn't random at all, but a carefully executed professional hit, possibly orchestrated by a foreign government, rogue operatives within the US, or even a terrorist organization. Others point to bystanders near Kirk in the moments before the shooting, alleging that their strange hand gestures suggested prior knowledge of what was about to unfold. Social media, as expected, has become a breeding ground for speculation. One narrative insists Kirk was targeted because of US support for Ukraine, though no evidence has been presented. Another bizarre theory argues that Kirk never actually died at all, that the whole thing was staged. The proof? Viral footage in which his wedding ring appears to shift from one hand to the other. Skeptics counter that the ring may have been hinged, designed to open and close easily, but the explanation hasn't stopped the theory from gaining traction. The web of speculation goes even deeper. Some commentators have attempted to tie Israel into the narrative, suggesting possible Mossad involvement. They point to Kirk's outspoken comments about the Epstein files and claim he privately believed Israel would silence him if he turned against them. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has flatly dismissed those rumors, calling them insane. So far, none of these theories have been substantiated, but the speculation shows no signs of slowing down. And through it all, one name keeps surfacing: Erica France, Kirk's wife. Married to him since 2021 and mother of their 2 children, she is rumored by some to know more about what really happened than she's letting on. Whether that's true or just another twist in the rumor mill remains to be seen. Since tying the knot with Charlie Kirk, Erica France has become a highly visible presence at his side, echoing and amplifying his hard-right ideology. But long before stepping into that role, Erica carved out her own path in the entertainment industry, working as a model, actress, and casting director. In many ways, her public persona has mirrored Kirk's, promoting conservative values with a particular focus on marriage and family life. She hasn't shied away from making controversial statements either. In a January 2025 interview on The Sage Steele Show, Erica openly described herself as the submissive partner in their marriage, sparking debates that only reinforced her image as someone fully aligned with her husband's worldview.
Slave. That's not how marriage works. A lot of people forget to read the Bible verse after that where it says, husbands, love your wife like Christ loves the church. And that's where it's that healthy balance of I love submitting to Charlie because he's a phenomenal leader. And the way that he loves me, melts me to want to be able to help. How can I help you? I mean, every single morning I ask him and he asks me, how can I be praying for you? How can I make your day better? And I ask him at the end of that, what can I do so that when you come home at the end of the night, what do you need at home? What do you want to eat? Obviously, okay, whatever. Some people are like, women are in the kitchen, whatever. No, do I cook every night? No, but do I? Yeah, whatever. But how can I help when you come home, how can we make the landing pad a little bit softer? So it's just that, I don't know. And I love that he spoke out. I love that you're speaking out. It's special that people are rising up and being like, you know what? Life's short. This is the truth. And I'm going to.
Erica shared more than just a marriage with Charlie Kirk. She aligned with many of his values, and their public interactions suggested a deep bond that went beyond appearances. Those close to the couple believe Kirk confided in her about matters he rarely, if ever, spoke of publicly. According to insiders, this included threats he had received. While Erica hasn't revealed much outright, she has acknowledged that Kirk confided in her privately. Some claim it's only a matter of time before she speaks out, and if she does, what comes to light could be explosive. The secrecy surrounding the attack has only fueled speculation that a larger force might have been at play. After all, the effort put into making the operation look clean raises serious questions. For context, Turning Point USA had announced on August 27, 2025, that Kirk would embark on the American Comeback Tour, a college campus speaking and debate series running through September and October. His appearance at Utah Valley University was slated as the opening stop. Controversy struck early. A petition circulated urging the university to cancel his speech, but administrators stood firm, citing free speech and open discussion as core values. Roughly 3,000 people attended the event, guarded by 6 police officers and Kirk's own private security team. Though the event was ticketed, entry protocols left certain vulnerabilities in place, an opening that, in hindsight, may have been exploited. Despite the scale of the event, security measures left significant gaps. Attendees weren't screened with metal detectors, and entry into the venue remained relatively open. Those oversights would later prove critical. According to reports, surveillance footage captured the suspect's movements throughout the morning. At 8:29 a.m., he arrived on campus driving a gray Dodge Challenger, dressed in one outfit. Hours later, at 11:50 a.m., he reappeared, this time in different clothing, moving through a grassy area before entering a nearby parking lot. 3 minutes later, cameras recorded him stopping briefly at the top of a stairwell, pulling out his phone, and then heading into a pedestrian tunnel. By 12:02 p.m., he was seen again, this time walking along the north side of the Lucis Center, the very building from which he would later fire the fatal shot. An affidavit states that the suspect entered the Lucis Center from the southeast side and, just 13 minutes later, was climbing stairs inside the building. Investigators believe that by 12:22 p.m., he had reached the roof. Positioned on his stomach, He aimed directly toward the area where Kirk was addressing the crowd. At 12:23 p.m., a single round was discharged from approximately 130 meters away, striking Kirk in the neck. Security video also documented the suspect's escape. Immediately after the shot, he sprinted across the roof from the south corner to the north corner, where the ground level rose close enough for him to hang from the edge. At 12:24 p.m., he dropped to the ground and fled. Forensic teams later recovered palm prints and partial smudge marks from the roof's edge, collecting DNA samples in hopes of identifying the shooter. Investigators pieced together more from the aftermath. A footprint left in the dirt revealed the suspect had been wearing Converse sneakers. Not far from there, in a wooded patch on the north side of campus, officers later recovered a rifle fitted with a scope. Inside, they found the same bizarrely inscribed bullet casings that have fueled so much speculation. The timing of the shooting itself was chilling. Just moments before the attack, Kirk was fielding audience questions. One asked if he knew how many transgender Americans had been murdered in the past decade. His reply, "Too many." The follow-up pressed him on how many mass shootings had taken place in the US over that same period. As Kirk began to answer, a single, precise shot rang out, striking him in the neck with what many observers described as near military precision. In the immediate chaos, authorities detained conservative libertarian activist George Zinn, who had claimed involvement. Zinn was quickly released, however, with police clarifying his arrest had been related to potential obstruction of justice. Reports later highlighted Zinn's history of mental health struggles and his pattern of public events. The FBI soon stepped in, announcing on social media that a suspect had been apprehended. Utah Governor Spencer Cox echoed the claim, confirming that a person of interest was in custody. Yet within 2 hours, the Bureau reversed course, stating the individual had been released after interrogation. Later that same day, the FBI said facial recognition software had identified a new person of interest, releasing photos and offering up to $100,000 for information leading to an arrest. That break came when a man in Washington, Utah, recognized the images as his own son, 30-year-old Tyler James Robinson, a student in an electrical apprenticeship program. Authorities soon connected the dots back to Tyler James Robinson, a student at Dixie Technical College in Utah. Both of his parents were registered Republicans, though his own political leanings remain murky. After recognizing his son in the FBI's released photos, Robinson's father confronted him directly. Shaken, he turned to his LDS bishop for guidance, who in turn alerted the U.S. Marshals Service. Investigators then spoke with Robinson's transgender roommate, who was also his romantic partner. That interview proved crucial. The roommate reportedly handed over messages from Robinson discussing plans to retrieve a rifle from a drop point, stash it in a bush, and monitor the site from a distance. Other messages described wrapping the weapon in a towel, attaching a scope, and loading it with engraved bullets. He even called the rifle unique, language that investigators found chilling given the bizarre details already uncovered. But even as the case unfolded in real time, public speculation exploded. Many began pointing fingers back at Erica, convinced she knew more about Kirk's death than she was admitting. Then Candace Owens entered the conversation, igniting the internet with a single post. According to Owens, Kirk had been under enormous strain, battling with powerful billionaires who had once funded him but turned against him. She claimed the pressure had intensified in the 2 weeks before his death, and hinted at messages that would eventually surface. Her closing words promised that the truth will be revealed and that the movement he built will rise up. That statement poured gasoline on an already raging fire. Candace Owens didn't just comment, she ignited a storm. Within minutes, her words were screenshot, shared, and dissected across every corner of the internet. To some, it sounded like a slip of the tongue, an unguarded moment where she revealed more than she intended. To others, it was classic Owens, provocative, dramatic, and engineered to generate outrage and clicks. But regardless of her intent, the damage was done. A spark had turned into a wildfire. Did Owens accidentally confirm billionaire involvement? That's the question that refuses to die. The possibility seems outrageous on the surface, yet the internet thrives on the outrageous. Conspiracy-minded users were quick to point out that Owens has historically maintained insider connections within the conservative movement, moving in the same donor circles that Kirk himself relied upon. If anyone might have caught wind of tensions behind closed doors, it would be someone like her. The idea that she might have let a truth slip, while trying to posture as the keeper of inside knowledge, was irresistible to those already suspicious of the official narrative. On the other hand, critics argue it was all performance. Owens has built a career on courting controversy, framing herself as the truth teller against a corrupt establishment. To them, her statement was nothing more than strategic ambiguity, dramatic enough to go viral, vague enough to never be proven wrong. In that interpretation, she wasn't confirming anything, just tossing chum into waters already crowded with speculation, ensuring she remained part of the conversation. For now, the only certainty is that the public is waiting, restlessly, for those rumored messages to leak. And it's not just idle waiting, it's obsessive. Threads on Reddit run thousands of comments deep, dissecting supposed screenshots and blurry images. Telegram groups swap unverified insider tips, while Twitter timelines are filled with people promising to have the drop any day now. It has become the digital equivalent of watching the sky for storm clouds, everyone convinced they'll be the first to spot the break. And while the anticipation builds, so too does the paranoia. Each day that passes without leaked evidence fuels competing theories, that the messages are being suppressed by authorities, that they are being selectively leaked to journalists, or even that they never existed in the first place. Yet, paradoxically, the lack of proof only makes people more certain that something big is being hidden. Meanwhile, one question dominates every thread, every forum, every comment section. Was Charlie Kirk silenced by enemies in the shadows, or is Erica holding back the truth? For those inclined toward the first theory, Kirk's final weeks are recast as the doomed struggle of a man who flew too close to the sun. They see him as a truth teller who crossed billionaires, governments, or powerful organizations, and paid the ultimate price. In that view, his wife becomes less a widow and more a guardian of secrets, either too frightened to speak or deliberately protecting the legacy of a fallen husband. For others, suspicion falls squarely on Erica herself. The logic is murkier, but the insinuations are sharp. If Kirk trusted her with his deepest fears, why hasn't she revealed more? Is her silence grief, or complicity? Every facial expression, every public appearance, even her choice of words during brief statements are endlessly analyzed for hidden meaning. In the court of online opinion, silence is never just silence. It is evidence of something. The frenzy shows no signs of slowing down. Each new twist, whether it's a stray comment from a political figure, an alleged insider leak, or even a grainy image from security footage, gets amplified, reframed, and inserted into a narrative that refuses to settle. And in this environment, truth becomes slippery. Facts blur into rumors, rumors calcify into certainty, and certainty is weaponized by whichever side benefits most. What's left is a story that feels less like a straightforward investigation and more like a battle over interpretation. Was Owens carelessly confirming a hidden war between Kirk and billionaires? Or was she merely fanning flames that were already burning? Is Erica sitting on a bombshell revelation, or just struggling under the weight of impossible expectations? For now, nobody knows. And perhaps that's why the theories continue to multiply. Because when the truth is withheld or delayed, the vacuum doesn't stay empty. It fills with suspicion, with paranoia, and with stories that may or may not have any grounding in reality. What is clear, however, is that the world isn't just waiting for answers, it's demanding them. And until those answers arrive, every whisper, every hint, and every ambiguous statement will be treated as a clue.